Revealed, how one incredible millionaire transformed an 8-year-old's life after a heartwarming partnership, in the small town of Maplewood, where the scent of freshly cut grass hung in the air and sunflowers swayed in soft breezes. Young Timmy Thompson dreamed of big things. He was a bright-eyed 8-year-old with wild, sun-kissed hair and a heart full of imagination. Every night, after his mother finished her grueling shift at the diner, Timmy would sprawl on his bedroom floor, pouring his dreams of invention onto pages of a battered notebook. Little gears, whirring springs, and fantastical machines adorned the pages, all drawn with a child's determination, but behind Timmy's hopeful smile lay the weight of reality. His mother, Sarah, worked tirelessly to keep food on their small table, her hands rough and weary from long hours scrubbing dishes. Bills piled high, leaving no room for dreams, but Timmy's spirit remained unbroken. He didn't realize just how far away his dreams felt as he doodled, wishing he could build something that would make life easier for his mom. One afternoon, the winds of change began to swirl. Enter Jake Miller, a self-made millionaire who had once stood where Timmy stood, just a boy with dreams but little support. Strolling past the community center, he caught sight of a small exhibit showcasing children's projects including Timmy's colorful, whimsical inventions. Memories flooded Jake's mind, igniting a spark of creativity he thought long extinguished. Compelled by a longing to make a difference, he approached the display, a wealth of experience calling him closer to this hopeful child. With unexpected warmth, Jake offered to mentor Timmy, introducing him to tools and resources he never had. Timmy practically glowed with joy as they began working together. In the diner, they shared laughter over greasy burgers and milkshakes, Timmy's eyes sparkling like stars, while Jake battled memories of his neglected childhood. "You can really do this," Jake often said, and for the first time, Timmy believed someone truly cared, but as news of their partnership spread, whispers began to swirl through the close-knit town. Could a wealthy man really connect with a struggling boy? Doubts crept in, twisting through familiar faces and familiar gatherings. "What does he want?" murmured Mrs. Sanchez, her brows furrowed. Tensions rose like storm clouds brewing over Maplewood, and soon, the town's financial struggles forced friendships to unravel. Just as Timmy's invention began to gain attention, a contraption with the potential to change everything, tragedy struck, and an economic downturn hit hard. Suddenly, the fabric of the community felt torn. Fights broke out over old wounds, as loyalty faced off against skepticism. With Jake and Timmy tangled in the heart of this storm, the community stood at a crossroads. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The turning point arrived when an unexpected crisis demanded solidarity from Maplewood. Would the town set aside their prejudices and support Timmy's bright mind? Could they discover the power of unity? In that moment, as Timmy braced for his invention to be unveiled, hope crackled in the air. Yet, an unforeseen revelation threatened to unravel everything. Would they overcome their fears, or would doubt overshadow the shimmering promise of change? The town held its breath, and somewhere, Timmy's heart beat louder than ever, brimming with tenacious hope. The day arrived when Timmy would finally unveil his invention at the community center. Excitement buzzed through the air like static, but beneath the surface, a current of tension pulsed through Maplewood. Jake stood beside Timmy, his heart pounding with both pride and anxiety as the townspeople gathered. Whispers flitted around the room like nervous birds. "What if it doesn't work?" one voice murmured, while another replied, "He's just a kid." Timmy gazed at his invention, a mix of gears and lights that he had crafted with diligence and passion. He had poured hours into this project, fueled by the dream of lifting some of the burden off his mother's shoulders. It was more than just a contraption, it was a beacon of hope, a glimmer of what could be. Still, self-doubt trickled into his mind. Would they see beyond the whispers? Would they recognize the spark of innovation he had brought forth? As he took the stage, Timmy felt his palms sweating and his heart racing. He could sense the weight of the crowd's eyes on him, each gaze carrying expectations and skepticism alike. He glanced at his mom sitting in the front row, her face a mix of encouragement and worry. Taking a deep breath, he found strength in her unwavering support. "This is for you, Mom," he thought, with a shaky voice. Timmy began to explain his invention, a machine designed to help with odd jobs around the house, aimed at easing the burden of chores. As he spoke, he gestured to the invention, lifting a small lever that set the gears in motion. The device whirred to life, each component moving with an earnest determination that mirrored Timmy's heart. A gasp rippled through the crowd. A few faces softened as they watched the small machine organize colorful blocks, clearing a tiny space before filling it again like a choreographed dance. For a moment, the air thickened with awe, then came a voice from the back, cutting through the wonder. "But why should we trust him? He's just playing pretend." The words slashed through the room, igniting murmurs of discord. Doubts resurfaced, and just as quickly as hope had flickered, it began to dim. Jake stepped forward, a fire igniting in his belly. "Timmy is not just playing pretend. He's doing what every innovator has done since time began. He's creating something to better lives, just like I once wished I could." His voice grew stronger, filled with passion. "I believe in him, and I believe in all of you. This community has the power to support our children, to lift them up, instead of tearing them down." A ripple of murmurs filled the room, some of agreement while others remained skeptical. Yet, Timmy felt a glimmer of hope as he looked at Jake, whose belief in him shone bright against the backdrop of doubt. Could the town rally around him? As the crowd began to disperse, Timmy's heart sank. What if this was it? What if his dreams were to fade like shadows in the night? But just as he turned away, a small voice called out from the front. "Timmy." It was Sarah, her voice shaking but determined. "I believe in you." It was a small act, but in that moment it sent ripples of courage through Timmy. Though uncertainty still loomed over Maplewood, something had shifted. As Timmy walked off the stage, he could feel a seed of unity planting itself in the hearts of the townsfolk. Would they nurture it, or let it wither? The night stretched long ahead, filled with unanswered questions, the tension hanging like mist over Maplewood, and yet somewhere deep inside, Timmy knew one truth: even if the world didn't understand yet, he would never stop trying. As whispers danced around him, a new revelation struck just as he reached the door. What if there was more than one invention waiting to be discovered? What if the spark of creativity could ignite not just his future but the whole town's? With determination flooding through him, Timmy turned back to face the crowd. Would they see the potential for change he imagined? Timmy's heart raced as he turned back to face the crowd, the dim light overhead casting a warmth over the room. The harsh whispers quieted, and it seemed momentarily that the air itself held its breath, waiting for him to speak again. What if we all created something together? He blurted out, a flash of inspiration coursing through him. He saw Sarah's eyes widen in surprise, and Jake nodded encouragingly. What if we all pooled our ideas? Timmy continued, his voice steadier this time. We could make Maplewood a place where everyone helps each other, where innovation doesn't just come from one person, but from all of us. Just think about the possibilities. The crowd shifted as his words settled among them. A flicker of excitement ignited in the room, faces slowly lighting up with possibilities. Murmurs of curiosity blended with skepticism, making Timmy feel like he was on the edge of a cliff, uncertain whether to jump forward or retreat. We've got builders and thinkers right here, he urged, gesturing broadly. What if we make a whole team? A workshop. We could invent things to help around the community. Raise funds, have competitions. Sarah clapped excitedly, her small hands breaking through the tension. I can bake. We can have a bake sale to fund the workshop. Her enthusiasm was contagious. And I can help with repairs, chimed in Mr. Thompson, the local handyman. We could get materials donated from the hardware store for class projects. Timmy's heart swelled as agreement buzzed through the crowd. People began to stand, one by one, sharing their skills painting, planting, sewing, and more. Ideas bounced back and forth like fireflies in the night. It was electrifying and breathtaking, a symphony of hope stirring in Maplewood, but as excitement spread, doubt dripped in from the edges. Can we really trust this boy and his ideas? What if it fails? A voice called out from the back. A ripple of uncertainty slithered through the crowd, quelled only momentarily by the energized atmosphere Timmy had helped create. Timmy straightened his back, acknowledging the doubt head-on. I understand your concerns, he said earnestly. But this isn't just about me and my invention. This is about all of us. If we fail, we'll learn. But if we succeed, he paused, letting the weight of his words settle. If we succeed, we'll lift each other up. Silence blanketed the room, punctuated only by a few whispers. Timmy scanned the crowd, meeting the eyes of his mother, who smiled, tears glistening at the corners. It was a simple moment, but it felt monumental. Could this really be the moment that defined a change for Maplewood? Just as the first light of acceptance glimmered, the door swung open, and the chill from the night crept in hard. A tall figure stepped inside, shrouded in shadows. All eyes turned. Is this where the magic happens? The stranger called out, a playful smile on his face. The room fell silent, laden with uncertainty. Who was this person? As whispers gave way to anticipation, Timmy felt another rush of determination swell inside him. Would this new arrival help or hinder their burgeoning idea? He took a step forward, ready to face whatever was to come. Can I help you? He asked, voice steady but laced with curiosity. The figure smiled wider, as if he knew something no one else did. You might just be the one I've been looking for. Timmy's heart raced. Who was this person, and what did he mean? In a town buzzing with possibility, new questions emerged. Could the arrival of this stranger be the push Maplewood needed? The stranger stepped forward, revealing a face lined with laughter and bright eyes that danced with mischief. Hello, everyone. I'm Max, he declared, his voice smooth and inviting. I've been hearing some buzz around town about an ambitious young man leading the charge to redefine Maplewood. It sounds like I walked in at the right time. The crowd shifted again, some exchanging curious glances while others leaned in, intrigued. Timmy's instincts kicked in, a mixture of caution and excitement. What did this stranger want from them? Timmy, he said, his voice breaking slightly with enthusiasm and anxiety. We're just discussing creating a community workshop where we can share ideas and skills. Everyone can contribute. Max nodded, clearly impressed. I love the idea. But let's take it a step further. Why not create an invention fair? A day where everyone can showcase what they've made. The community can come together, and we can even invite local businesses to fund prizes for the best projects. A collective gasp rippled through the crowd. Timmy could feel the energy buzz in the air like static before a storm. An invention fair? That's a fantastic idea. Sarah exclaimed, clapping her hands together. But how do we get started? Jake asked, eyeing Max skeptically. What does this have to do with you, Max? Max chuckled softly, understanding the concern. I'm a businessman, sure, but I also used to be a kid with big dreams. Someone believed in me when I was young, and I want to do the same for you all. I can help sponsor the event materials, space, the works. Just tell me how I can support you. The crowd fell into a comfortable chatter, each person throwing names and ideas back and forth. Timmy felt a warmth fill him. The familiar tightness in his chest loosened. People were buzzing with possibility, the night's earlier doubts drifting away like clouds. Timmy took a deep breath, emboldened by the support around him. If we can work together, we can make this fair happen. Each of us can take a part in planning it, and we'll set a date within the next few weeks. But a voice from the back spoke again, cutting through the excitement like a knife. And what if we fail, huh? What if no one shows up? Max turned around, unfazed by the lingering skepticism. Every great success starts with a shot of fear. But you know what? Even if you fail, you'll learn something priceless. You'll know what does and doesn't work. Isn't that worth the risk? Timmy glanced sideways at his mother, who nodded back at him, her eyes shining with hope. He felt a rush of confidence surge inside of him. It was terrifying to confront failure, but what if this time they could transform their little town, together? As conversations picked up again, Max offered a reassuring smile to Timmy. You're on the verge of something truly great here. Let us not waste the momentum. Just then, the sound of laughter erupted from the back, pulling everyone's attention. It was Mrs. Morrison, her apron dusted with flour, visibly excited. Count me in with a booth of baked goods. Timmy grinned as people stepped out, ready to pledge their commitment. Together, they began to weave a tapestry of ideas for the creation of their new community venture. But deep down, a persistent question nagged Timmy: what if the venture didn't just test their ideas, but also their friendships and trust in each other? As the anticipation built, he could feel a wave of uncertainty lurking beneath their excitement, reminding him that true transformation always came with challenges. What lay ahead could change them all in ways they never expected. With every smile shared and every idea exchanged, Timmy knew one thing for certain: Maplewood was on the brink of change, but would they be ready for the ripple effects of their ambitions? Timmy woke the next morning, sunlight streaming through his curtains. He felt a mix of exhilaration and nervousness, thoughts swirling about the invention fair. The sketch he'd made of his latest robot design lay crumpled on his desk, a tangible reminder of the ideas he wanted to share. His breakfast was a blur of cereal and half-hearted conversation with his mother. All he could think about was the meeting that would take place later that day at Maplewood Park. The excitement in the air last night was still fresh, yet a nagging apprehension settled at the back of his mind. What if I disappoint everyone? He wondered as he pushed the cereal around in his bowl. His mother must have noticed the faraway look in his eyes. You're worried, aren't you? She asked gently, her tone warm like the morning sun. I don't know, Mom. What if not everyone can do their part? What if no one shows up? Timmy's voice was small and shaky, almost lost amidst the clinking of spoons and muffled morning chatter. She leaned closer, her eyes full of understanding. Timmy, it's okay to be scared. But remember, every big adventure starts with a little uncertainty. It's how you grow. Nodding, he felt slightly reassured but couldn't shake off the lingering doubts. Soon, he would find himself in front of all those eager faces, and they would rely on him, the same boy who once struggled to speak in front of his classmates. As the day wore on, he found himself moving toward the park, heart pounding. The aroma of grass and blooming flowers filled the air. Just beyond the trees, he spotted familiar faces gathering, their chatter punctuated with laughter. His pulse quickened, they were ready to dream big. Hey, Timmy! Sarah called, waving with a bright smile. Come see the ideas we've been brainstorming for the booths. Timmy approached, absorbing the energy that surged between them. Ideas sprouted from each participant like wildflowers, weaving a landscape of excitement and innovation. They shared plans for everything from a science experiment booth to a live art demonstration. But then there was Jake, standing slightly apart from the group, arms crossed and lips pressed into a thin line. Timmy remembered Jake's skepticism from the previous night. Are we really doing this? Jake asked, frustration simmering just below the surface. What if it's just a big flop? Timmy took a deep breath. We've got to try, he said, his voice stronger than he felt. We can't let fear hold us back. We have each other. Jake looked at him, a hint of softness sparking in his expression. Yeah, maybe you're right. The group continued to bounce ideas around, yet uncertainty loomed over them like a dark cloud. Each suggestion felt like a leap into the unknown. Would they really be able to turn this grand vision into reality? As they began to lay out plans, Timmy felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. What if something went wrong? What if no one could see their brilliance? But just then, Max arrived with an energy so infectious that it lit up the crowd. Who's ready to make this fair happen? The burst of cheers that followed sent Timmy's heart racing. A sense of purpose swelled within him. If they could charge ahead together, driven by the thrill of collaboration, perhaps they could conquer those flickering doubts that in that moment, the path ahead seemed both clear and daunting. Timmy allowed himself to think of what success could mean: new friendships, memories born from creativity, and maybe, just maybe, a transformed Maplewood. As ideas flowed, shadows crept in the corners of Timmy's mind. What would it cost them to reach for their dreams? And was everyone really equally invested in this journey? He glanced around at his friends, their expressions lit with hope and anticipation. But before he could voice his worries, a distant sound caught his attention: a truck rolling into the park, filled to the brim with supplies. Looks like we're not the only ones excited. Max laughed, eyes sparkling. As everyone rushed to see what was happening, Timmy felt a wave of exhilaration wash over him. But still, the echo of his earlier question lingered: what if the price of their ambition was heavier than they expected? And just as the first box tumbled out from the truck, ready to launch their ideas, Timmy stood poised at the brink of an adventure that would test the fabric of their friendships and reshape their community forever. What secrets were about to unravel before them? Timmy watched as the truck's doors flew open, revealing a sparkling array of colorful supplies. Paint cans, cardboard boxes, strings of lights, and even a few ambitious decorations spilled out onto the grass. Laughter and excitement bubbled up around him. It felt like the beginning of something wonderful. "Let's grab some of that!" shouted Sarah, her eyes wide with enthusiasm. She dashed ahead, and the others quickly followed suit. Their collective energy was contagious. Timmy felt an ache in his chest, a mixture of pride and nervousness. He joined the rush, grabbing a few paint cans. As he lifted them, a feeling of unity embraced him. They were all in this together. He glanced at Jake, who wore a hesitant smile, shoulder to shoulder with their group of friends. Maybe everything would work out after all. "Okay, team." Max clapped his hands, gathering their attention. "Let's circle up. We need to decide what to do first." Timmy took a deep breath as they all settled in a rough circle on the grass. Max's voice cut through the buzzing excitement. "We've got so much here. Let's break down the tasks. Who wants to work on the booths? And who's up for sketching out the layout?" Hands shot up into the air. "I'll work on the science booth," shouted Felix. "I have some awesome experiments to show." "I can handle supplies for the art booth." Sarah chimed in, her enthusiasm lifting everyone's spirits. Timmy could feel it simmering inside him, the urge to lead. "What if I take charge of the robot demo? I've got an idea for it, but I'll need everyone's help to pull it off." His voice wavered slightly, but the moment felt too significant to shrink back. "Well, I can help with that, too," Jake admitted, looking more open than he had been. "We could use the robot to show how teamwork works. I mean, if it even works." He chuckled, the ice between them easing. Laughter erupted in the circle, all the fears starting to slip away. Timmy found his heart racing, feeling lighter than he had that morning. For the first time, the anxiety began to dissolve into a wave of possibility. They were going to do this together. Suddenly, the park filled with the sound of a loud horn. Timmy turned to see a grand limousine gliding smoothly down the path, making its way to the park entrance. Curious, everyone paused to watch the sleek vehicle pull to a stop. "What's that doing here?" Sarah questioned, her forehead creased. "It's kinda fancy for a day like today, isn't it?" The door opened, and out stepped a tall, well-dressed man. He looked confident and cheerful, a broad smile spread across his face. He scanned the crowd, and when his eyes met Timmy's, a surprising warmth radiated through the distance. Instinctively, Timmy felt something big was about to happen. "Everyone, gather around." The man called out, his voice booming with energy. My name is Mr. Aldrich, and I'm thrilled to see so many young innovators today. I have a surprise for you all. The group's curiosity piqued, and they began to converge toward the man, whispers of excitement swirling through the air. What kind of surprise? Timmy mumbled to himself, wondering if perhaps this stranger could spark something unexpected and powerful in their venture. As Mr. Aldrich gestured toward the back of the limousine, the nervous anticipation enveloped Timmy like a cloak. A feeling flared inside him, a mixture of hope and uncertainty. Could this man be linked to their dreams? Are you ready to take your imaginations to the next level? Mr. Aldrich asked, as he pulled a heavy box from the trunk. The moment hung in the air, and Timmy held his breath. What could possibly be inside? In that moment, everything hinged on the answers he was about to receive. And as the box was revealed, Timmy's mind raced. What if this man was about to change everything? Timmy's heart skipped a beat as Mr. Aldrich slowly opened the box. The crowd drew closer, their excitement buzzing around him like a swarm of bees. Inside the box, neatly arranged, were robotics kits, wires, sensors, and tools that sparkled under the bright sun. It felt like Christmas had come early for everyone. Mr. Aldrich beamed as he began to explain, "These are supplies for building your own robots. You can create whatever your imagination allows. I want to encourage creativity and innovation in you all, and what better way than through building and teamwork?" Gasps and cheers erupted from the group, but Timmy felt a different flame igniting within him. The kits weren't just tools, they were possibilities. For a moment, doubt crept back in. What if he wasn't good enough to lead this project? But as he glanced around, he noticed his friends' faces reflecting sheer joy. They believed in something together, and he wanted to be part of it, to help them chase this dream. "Okay, team." Max shouted over the noise, eyes shining with determination. "We have robots to build. Let us divide the kits, guys. We can tackle this as a group." Timmy felt a thrill. The promise of building something real pulsed through him as he looked at the kits in the box. "Hey, everyone. Let us take a page from Jake's idea about teamwork. How about splitting into smaller groups? Each group can build their own robot. We can combine our creations at the end." "Great idea!" Sarah exclaimed, practically bouncing on her toes. "I can do the art on the robot. I'll make it colorful and fun. I'll work on programming." Jake spoke up, excitement now apparent in his tone. "I'm not a pro, but I can help get it moving." As they broke into hushed discussions, Timmy felt a surge of inspiration filling the air. Each friend had a role. They were turning what started as mere supplies into a collaborative adventure. He took one of the kits and felt it in his hands, the weight of future possibilities. With each piece in the kit, a vision blossomed in his mind. But just as the excitement reached its peak, Timmy noticed Mr. Aldrich watching him closely. The man's expression was serious, but there was a glimmer of understanding in his eyes. Timmy felt the warmth of his gaze, and with it, a subtle encouragement. "Timmy, remember," Mr. Aldrich said, leaning in slightly, "even the smallest components can bring brilliant ideas to life. Don't underestimate your ability to lead." Timmy nodded, a wave of gratitude washing over him. The words settled deep within his heart, providing reinforcement for his growing determination. He could do this. He would do this, yet, even with the energy building around him, one question persisted in his mind: why had Mr. Aldrich come to them today? What was his real motivation? As the friends eagerly unpacked the kits and gathered tools, Timmy found himself wandering back to the box, a sense of mystery hanging over it. "Mr. Aldrich, how did you know we needed this? What's in it for you?" The man chuckled softly, his eyes sparkling with something Timmy couldn't quite place. "Sometimes, the greatest investments come from seeing potential in our youth. But remember, Timmy, it's how you use these tools that will define what you create." Those words danced around Timmy's mind, lighting a fire of ambition. As the team rallied around him, their energy was palpable, a symphony of laughter and hopes mingling in the air. but as they started to brainstorm ideas for their project, Timmy looked up and noticed something at the edge of the park, a familiar figure watching intently from the shadows. His heart sank. Could it really be? Before he could dwell on the thought, it slipped away, overshadowed by the collective buzz of creativity. Yet, the image gnawed at him. They were on the brink of something incredible. Could he handle everything that was unfolding, not just in the project, but in his own life? With that lingering question in his heart, Timmy prepared for what was to come. The challenge was just beginning, and he would need every ounce of courage he could muster. What awaited them ahead was still uncertain, a gamble that could change everything. Would they be able to harness their dreams and make them real? And who was that figure watching from afar? Timmy would have to find out soon enough. Timmy's thoughts raced, the excitement around him a stark contrast to the lingering unease. He focused on his friends, smiling faces filled with enthusiasm and hope, but the figure in the shadows continued to linger at the edge of his thoughts. Just as he was about to push the feeling aside, Jake called out, snapping his attention. "Timmy! What's our robot gonna look like? We need a name." Timmy shook off the worry and smiled. "How about we design a robot that helps people? Something cool, like a helper bot. It can have arms and legs, even a friendly face." "That's awesome!" Sarah shouted, clapping her hands. "I can paint it like a superhero. Bright colors and everything." They all started to brainstorm, tossing ideas into the air like confetti. Timmy's heart fluttered with every suggestion. This was what he had dreamed of, creating something meaningful with his friends. The kits became a treasure chest of creation, and as they broke down tasks, a palpable energy enveloped them. As they divided responsibilities, Timmy couldn't shake the sense of urgency that accompanied his earlier concern. With each component they discussed, his thoughts flickered back to that figure. His instincts told him something significant was about to happen. Hours flew by as they began assembling pieces, laughter rising and falling like an infectious wave. Timmy focused intently on the foundation of the robot, his hands steady as he tightened screws and connected wires. He could feel his friend's energy flowing through the group, a collective heartbeat of creativity. Suddenly, Timmy's eyes strayed again toward the shadows, almost as if drawn by an invisible string. Was it just paranoia or something more? His insides twisted as he noticed the figure step closer, revealing a familiar face. It was his older brother, Dan, who he hadn't seen for months. Their relationship had been strained ever since Dan dropped out of school to chase his own dreams. Timmy hadn't known if he was excited or anxious to see him again. "Timmy!" Dan called out, his voice a friendly tone that filled the air. "I heard about the robot project, and I couldn't resist coming to check it out." Timmy froze for a moment, a blend of joy and confusion battling inside him. Dan hadn't been around for support before, so why now? The other kids paused too, glancing at him curiously. "Hey, Dan," he managed to say, trying to mask the worry swirling within. "We're just getting started on our robot." Dan's eyes lit up, and he stepped closer, kneeling down to examine the jumble of parts. "You're going to need more than just sparkles to make it move. Have you considered coding? I could help with that." Timmy felt a mix of hope and doubt. Dan was filled with ideas and life, but would he stick around this time? That would be great. "But what brought you back?" "I thought." His sentence trailed off, heavy with unspoken words. Dan paused, his expression faltering for a brief moment. "I know I've been away a lot. But I've realized I want to be there for you, Timmy. I want to help you achieve your dreams." The others nodded, sensing the significance of the moment. Timmy felt touched yet uncertain. Would this be a moment of real change, or just another fleeting promise? "Great! Let's make this robot the best it can be." Max cheered, reinstating the energy around them. As they rallied again to work on the project, Timmy glanced at Dan, uncertainty still lingering. Could people really change? Could he trust that things were about to improve in his life? In that whirl of ambition and creativity, the shadows of doubt still danced around Timmy's heart. What if? Despite the excitement, it was all too good to be true. The afternoon continued, electric with hope and possibility. But the real test was yet to come. Would Timmy's dreams of connection and support transform into reality, or would he learn yet another lesson about the impermanence of promises? Just as he began to lose himself in the task, a shout rang out. From the other end of the park, a frenzied movement broke through the laughter. Someone was running, and their expression was of sheer panic. What could have gone wrong? Timmy felt dread creeping back in, fears resurfacing. What now awaited them? The chaos drew closer, fueled by frantic footsteps pounding against the grass. All eyes turned, curiosity and concern wrinkling brows. A girl from the older kids group shoved through the crowd. Her face was flushed, and her breaths came in quick, shaky bursts. Help! You've got to come quick. It's Emily. She fell off the swing, and she's hurt. In an instant, the energy shifted. Laughter faded like a distant memory. Timmy's heart raced, panic drowning his thoughts. Emily was their friend, always full of laughter and light. He exchanged a quick glance with Dan. It was as if the air thickened between them, unspoken words hanging heavy. Let us go. Dan shouted, already moving towards the commotion. Timmy followed, legs trembling as adrenaline surged through him. He could hear the murmurs of the crowd growing louder, mixed with cries of distress and encouragement. The park that had buzzed with joy transformed into a scene of urgency. As they reached the swings, a knot formed in Timmy's stomach. Emily lay on the ground, her friends gathered around her, faces pale and wide-eyed. Timmy felt a sting behind his eyes. Not her, not now. Dan knelt by Emily, fierce determination in his expression. Everyone stand back. Give her space. He glanced at Timmy, and for a moment, the brotherly bond felt strong again, collaborators in a time of need. Timmy could only watch as Dan checked on Emily. He tried to focus, to process what had happened, but everything felt blurred. The calls from their friends faded into background noise. He just wanted to know that Emily would be okay. Is she breathing? Someone whispered. Dan took a breath, assessing, calming himself. Stay with her, Emily. Can you hear me? Just hold on. His hands were steady, but Timmy could see the concern etched in his brother's brow. Moments stretched into eternity. Timmy felt a pressure building within him, a weight that threatened to crush. What if it was serious? Timmy turned to Sarah, who stood closest, her hands trembling. We should find an adult, someone who can help. Right, she nodded, but her voice was faint that he watched as Sarah dashed off, her figure a blur among the onlookers. Each second felt like an hour. Timmy's fingers clenched at his sides, unable to move as a sense of helplessness washed over him. The excitement of the day had evaporated like morning dew, replaced by an urgent fear that clawed at his chest. Timmy, stay with me. Dan's voice was sharp, pulling him back into the moment. What's your favorite game with Emily? What? Timmy stuttered, surprised by the question. What game? We need to distract her. We love that tag game. Exactly. Dan beamed, focusing on Emily. Remember that time we played in the field and you caught everyone? You were so fast. Timmy leaned closer, heart still racing, willing his voice to be steady. Yeah. You showed us how to leap like a superhero. Emily's eyes fluttered open briefly, a flicker of recognition. Timmy. Dan. Yeah, we're right here, Dan encouraged, reassuring and firm. Keep talking to us, Em. Help is on the way. We're not going anywhere, Timmy promised, choking on the fear as relief washed over him. Just as he thought they might make a connection, sirens wailed in the distance. Hope surged within Timmy. Help was near. But as he looked at Dan, he wondered, would his brother's promise to be there hold true during their darkest moments? With Emily in a critical situation and his bond with Dan at stake, Timmy braced himself for whatever was about to unfold. Would they emerge stronger together, or would the shadows of doubt break them apart yet again? The ambulance arrived like a beacon of hope, lights flashing and sirens blaring, cutting through the anxiety that gripped the air. Timmy held his breath, fiercely focused on Emily's face. Dan kept talking, keeping her grounded, and, surprisingly, it worked. She blinked, her eyes dilating slightly, as if she could hear him even amidst the chaos. The paramedics swept in, taking charge with confident hands. Their movements were practiced, and for a moment, the world shrank to just those carrying gestures, setting up a stretcher, checking her pulse, flashing medical instruments in the sun. Timmy could feel something deep within him shift as he watched, realizing how fragile life could be. While all around him, hearts left heavy with worry, he felt a resolution emerge. Together, they could face anything. As Emily was loaded into the ambulance, Dan insisted, "I'm coming with you. She needs someone familiar." Timmy wanted to follow, to be by their side, but the sweet weight of responsibility pulled at him as he turned back to their friends. They still needed direction, support, and strength. "Guys!" Timmy called out, drawing everyone's attention. "We need to regroup and support each other, just like Emily supported us. We owe it to her." The moment hung in the air, and one by one, his friends found their voice again, murmuring agreement. They split into smaller sections, responding to Timmy's passionate request. Sarah began gathering everyone to send positive messages and drawings for Emily, reminding them of the strength of community. Jake stepped up and organized activities to lighten the mood, ensuring laughter enveloped the park once again. The worries of doubt simmered on the back burner as the friends found strength in each other. Meanwhile, Timmy took a deep breath and walked over to Dan, who sat in the back of the ambulance, supportive but worried. "She's going to pull through, you know," he said quietly. "You're doing everything you can." Dan nodded, his eyes distant. "I wish I could have been there for her when she fell." The vulnerability in his voice tugged at Timmy's heart. Perhaps this experience could forge something new between them, some understanding that hadn't existed before. "Hey, look at me," Timmy said firmly, wrapping his little fingers around his brother's arm. "We're already learning to be stronger. For Emily, we can be the team she needs. And for us, too." Once the ambulance pulled away, leaving the lingering scent of adrenaline behind, the friends felt a wave of unity wash over them. "We need to do more than just help Emily," Timmy said, standing tall before his friends. "We need to show Maplewood we can be a community that lifts each other up." They nodded, understanding. This was about teamwork, about working together to create something that sparked joy and connection. As the days turned into weeks, the invention fair blossomed into a celebration that united the town. Every participant was busy planning their booths, learning new skills, and finding joy in each other's company. The air buzzed with excitement. The sound of drills and laughter filled the park as the townspeople came together to build something more than just machines. They were crafting bonds, shaping dreams, and Emily? She was at the forefront of it all after her recovery. The message of her resilience carried through the park like a clarion call, encouraging everyone to fight for their dreams and support one another. Timmy, ever watchful, always caught her gaze with pride, recalling how her spirit helped build this community. On the day of the fair, the sun shone brightly, bathing everything in a golden glow. Timmy stood at the center, surrounded by friends, each unique creation a testament to their hard work and spirit. The air was alive with the sound of laughter and celebration, as families shared excitement and ideas with one another. As he turned to see the invention fair unfold before him, a wave of emotions washed over him: joy, pride, love. Maplewood was no longer just a small town filled with whispers, it had transformed into a vibrant community, a patchwork of creativity and support. At that moment, Timmy's heart swelled with understanding. Every single thing they had built mattered, not just for themselves, but for everyone who hoped and wished for a brighter tomorrow. And amidst all the cheering, clapping, and smiles, he shot a glance to Dan, who was standing proudly beside their mother. They locked eyes, and in the unspoken moment, Timmy had the confidence that things would be all right. They didn't just connect with each other in family, they redefined it. As the fair went on, Timmy caught sight of Emily enjoying herself more than ever, her laughter ringing like wind chimes. Finally, as the sun dipped low, painting the sky in pinks and oranges, Timmy knew they had done it. Together, their journey didn't just reshape Maplewood, it had transformed them, connecting hearts and dreams into something bigger than any one person, and it could do it again. Hope thrived and unity stood steadfast, and in that moment, Timmy realized that true innovation would always emerge from the bonds they built together. The future sparkled brightly, and he couldn't wait to see where their dreams would take them next. Now more than ever, it's your turn to join this incredible journey. You need to subscribe now to be part of these amazing transformations. Don't wait not even one more second, leave a like to fuel the algorithm and share your thoughts in the comments. This is the moment to show your support. Grab 5 friends and share instantly this video, because real change starts with each and every one of us.